I hope you guys brought your D20, because Zach's about to roll for some charisma. D&D on the drop list. Coming soon. Welcome back, Gainers, to another incredible, exciting, fantastic episode of ComicGains! If you're new to the show, I'm Adam.
I'm Zach, and this is the Princess of Royal Highness doing the princess way you do to bow down, respect, and of course, there's the Coco Dog, the D&D master.
Oh yeah, the Dungeon Coco.
The Dungeon Coco.
Sometimes when she's bad, she go in the dungeon.
Dungeon.
No, we don't have a dungeon for her. All right, guys, today is Monday, and we got a brand new drop list for you. This is a really interesting one. A lot of cool books, a lot of mixture. I know lately a lot of the drop list has been Marvel, but this one's a really nice mixture of a lot of different books, and I'm really excited for this. So if you guys are new to the drop list or new to the ComicGains show, every Monday we scour the internet for trending lists, hot lists, any sort of speculatory lists, sometimes Comic-Con lists, anything like that, and we try to figure out which of those books 1 year later has dropped in price. And we do the nice thing of putting it in order for you from least drop to the number one drop book of the week. And even better, you get the expert Zach's opinion.
Many years of collecting. Our collecting experience is over 30 years, collectively. Really, mine's like 18. But,
you get the expert opinion. It's a really good time, and there's a lot of different reasons, so we will let you guys know the history of the book, why it was popular a year ago, why it might not be popular today, and why you might want to pick it up, or why you might want to forget about it.
Please do.
We'll use the pen thing from Men in Black. All right. What we won't use the pen thing on is Zach's new drink for the week.
I stole this one from the princess, guys. I'm a bad man. Someone's going to tell. It's a Fairlife nutrition plan. 30 grams of protein. It's high quality protein. And it's vanilla.
You don't want any of that low quality protein.
No.
It's like when you're filling up at the gas tank and you get that low quality protein.
Is it for the brokies, or is that offensive? It's probably offensive. Yeah.
Unleaded?
Unleaded, yeah.
Give me that unleaded protein.
I don't understand why people do the premium when it's like not so good of a vehicle. I don't think it lasts very long. I just do the crappy one and hope for the best. I get it at Costco, but
Alright, we're getting off tangent. But we love gas.
I like
right?
tangents. Yes.
Tangent?
Goes on forever.
Yeah. You know when we don't get off topic? Oh, we do. But on Whatnot, every Saturday, if you guys want to hang out with the ComicGains crew, Princess heads up the show at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. She has the legendary Wheel of Gains, where you always have a chance to win a slab. Yeah. And if you stay on a little bit later, you get to hang out with Adam and Zach at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And this week, actually it was last week.
Last week.
Last week we had our 3K special show. So hopefully you guys all got to be there, because we're going to be coming up on 4K pretty soon.
Yeah, we'd be giving this away. It's already given away, but the show hasn't happened at this time. This is future given away.
Does that make any sense? We went to the future time.
Yeah, we went to the future.
We're going back to the future. All right. We do have to go back to the future to check on these hot books from a year ago that are now on the drop list. Let's start it off. Number 5. Coming at you, Berserker. We got Berserker number 1 from 2021. Boom Studios. If you guys didn't know, Keanu Reeves and Matt Kent wrote this book, and Raphael Grandpa did the artwork. I always thought that was cool, Raphael Grandpa. But this story has ended. It did get to its final issue. I think there's some kind of tie-in that came out recently that's like a one-shot that came out. But I did read this from start to finish. It had a really good, strong start. They kind of let you know where in our current times where he like goes on a mission and kind of messes up a bunch of people, and you kind of see that he has a lot of power. He can't be killed. He can just rip people apart, but like he can get all shot up and like look like a skeleton, but he'll just re-heal back into himself. And that part's cool. And they give you his backstory, which is really fun. He's kind of like actually came out during like caveman time, sort of like Aztec sort of time, and like his mother prayed to the gods, which she was given a child from them, which is kind of how he was made. And he's lived this entire lifetime and he remembers everything, but it's really good in the beginning, and it kind of falls off at the end where like this government's trying to like steal his power and give it to their agents, and he falls in love with like it's like a doctor or a research scientist that's like trying to help him, and she goes against like the company she's working for. Anyway, I'm getting too far into the story, but I thought it started out really good, but at the end I was kind of wanting it to be over, and you know, I'm like, okay, I've read enough of this, but we'll see how it goes. Last year, 1 year ago, is when they were announcing that Netflix was going to do a TV show for this. They're actually going to have a live action and an anime or cartoon version, which I know they've done that with a couple things recently. And they've tapped into Mattson Tomlin, who was a co-writer on the Batman movie. So they announced that last year. This book was like, there were so many printings and so many variant covers and foils, and it was really hard to keep up, and it seemed like something cool was going to come of this, and then it seems like there's like 1 million copies of everything. But there is a couple investment books to look out for. There's the 1 in 1,000 John Boy Myers cover, which I think is the most expensive one, and it comes in a signed version and not signed version, so a little over $600 I think for that signed one. So keep an eye out. I think this has potential. If they do a show, they might be able to do it better than I think the book ended up. And maybe they wanted to go longer with it, or maybe it picks up after where, I don't know. It could be good. We'll see. Zach will hit you with those numbers.
Yeah, they were berserking a year ago. No, not really. It's actually not big of a change. A year ago, for a CGC 9.0 was $50. Now it's $48. Range is $26 to as high as $200. Ooh, that's a big jump randomly. I average sell 55. It's a 4% drop. This is the least drop book we've ever had on the list, but it's worth mentioning, really worth mentioning, because there's been kicked up interest about it lately, so it's kind of makes sense. So it's one of those books you want to keep an eye out for. I could see them really doing pretty well with a TV show on this. They can make it fast paced, but also give the story its due justice, and hopefully cast Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, I think that's what he was planning for. Yeah, hopefully he can pull it. The guy's kind of like really tough in it. So not that Keanu's not tough, but you know, he's getting there up in the age range there. All right, next up on the list, we got a team up for the ages: Spawn and Batman. Number 1 from 1994. This is number 4 on the list. We got Frank Miller and Todd McFarlane teaming up for this epic crossover. For some reason, 1994, DC was trying to piggyback on the success of Spawn, and they tapped into 2 great creators, and they asked, Frank Miller to write the story and had Todd draw it, which I think the artwork in this book is amazing. I'm not sure if Frank Miller actually read any Spawn before he wrote the story, but some cool side stuff that goes along with this. If you guys didn't know, this Batman story is actually included in continuity for all of Frank Miller's work. So The Dark Knight Returns is actually connected to this, as well as I think like Year One, Batman Year One as well.
Oh wow!
Like they're all like technically connected, and in the Spawn universe, they actually added it into the regular Spawn continuity, because I think at the end of the book, the very end, Batman throws a Batarang and hits Spawn right in the face, and it looks really cool. And I think in the next issue, they still have that split, like in Spawn's, in the regular Spawn comic, he still has that split in the face.
That's hilarious.
But as well as last year they decided to do a 3rd iteration of the crossover Spawn Batman. I think there was a second one that came out a long time ago. It was like Capullo drawing it.
Yeah, War Games, I think.
Yeah, I think so. So they did one last year and got some good hype. I don't think the book as a whole took off. I know there was really cool. Barnes & Nobles did an exclusive, which I think was really a cool idea. I haven't seen an exclusive from Barnes & Nobles in like a million years. I didn't even know they were still around. But that was cool. That was fun. And yeah, it was trending last year. Couple things to keep an eye out for, which is hard to tell. There is a newsstand edition, and it's on the back. Mm-hmm. So you may totally just miss that when you're looking through it. And I didn't know this. There's also a Dynamic Forces edition, which is actually garnishes a lot of value as well. So keep an eye out for it. It's great artwork in this book. Great artwork.
All right. It was Dynamic Duo on steroids, guys. From hell. 2 dark people together. Fighting crime, hopefully. Price a year ago for CGC 9.8 was $170. Now it's $114. Range is $90 to $225. Average sale is $256. It's a 33% drop. This is a very fun book to get. It's a great cover. Probably a decent story because it made technically a sequel. It's one of those books that you want to probably consider getting. And if you can get it for a good deal, get it. But long-term returns, it's probably like a 30% chance of it like going crazy. And probably, honestly, I mean,
more like 10%.
Yeah,
it did kind of go crazy last year a little bit.
Yeah, but like, when are they ever gonna have actually Batman and Spawn team up in a movie or TV show?
Never.
Probably not, which is gonna be hyping up the show. I mean, even if you do like another 20-year mark of it being hyped up again, it's probably only gonna go up like 30%.
Yeah. Unless McFarlane buys DC. It would be like the only way.
He has a lot of money.
I know.
It's possible.
That's true. All right, you guys made it all the way to Hump Day. It's three on the list. Is Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. This is the only book we don't have. It's actually DC Comics from 1988, guys.
Interesting.
Jan Duursema and Michael Fleischer worked on this book back in 1988. And you didn't know, this is the first ongoing comic for D&D, Dungeons and Dragons. And this book got hot last year because there's word, actually I think got hot twice. This book actually got hot twice. They had a movie coming out. And I originally got hot when the previews came out back in 2021, and we kind of learned like the casting for the Dungeons and Dragons movie, which I got super excited. Chris Pine, who doesn't matter like what movie he's in, except for maybe like Wonder Woman 84. It's always good, good. You can always rely on Chris Pine. Michelle Rodriguez, even Hugh Grant. I don't want to spoil who the bad guy was, but you never know. And it looked really good. I was really excited about it. The book took off, and then cooled down a little bit. And then when the movie came out, it definitely delivered. It was good. I watched it. We watched it. We all thought it was a pretty solid movie. Just good all around. Hopefully they do some extras, and it kind of got that nice double whammy because D&D has kind of been popular ever since Stranger Things came out as well. Kind of had a nice resurgence. So you never know. You might have to roll the dice on this one to see if it's worth picking up now, or listen to Zach.
You're dead. 20 damage from direct fire damage. Bam. Okay. Price a year ago for this Dungeness, again I say Dungeness book, was $390 for a CGC 9.8. Now it's selling for about $250. Range $137 to $399 is the high. Average sale is $263. It's a 36% drop from the high to low. I think this one actually has a fair amount of future potential value because it's hitting on two fronts. It's hitting the comic book collecting people and hitting on the Dungeness Dragon collecting people, or D&D. D&D, that's a lot faster. So it's hitting on two fronts. People that are into D&D will probably want this comic in their collection to go on with their D&D stuff. And there's a lot of collectible D&D stuff, which I'm slowly finding out. And it's just really kind of cool combination of two really big fan favorites. I think it has some spec potential. And
yeah, I would assume they're gonna make a sequel of the movie too, so it might have a resurgence after that sequel comes out. And like Zach said, if you guys ever come across those original Dungeons and Dragons manuals and stuff like that, hang on to those, or check and see the value. They're some good stuff. Some good stuff to be had there. All right, number 2 on the list. I'm surprised this is not number 1. This is crazy. I would have thought this would have been number 1, and it's a repeat offender on the drop list. This book has dropped it more than once. You know how that goes.
Same thing with SheHulk.
Savage She-Hulk, number 1, 1980. John Buscema, Stan Lee actually wrote this story too. It's got to be like one of the last things that he wrote. Wrote the story. But if you guys didn't know, it's first appearance of She-Hulk, Jennifer Walters, the cousin of the Hulk, Bruce Banner, played by Tatiana Mussolini. Say that right? On the TV show
Orphan Black.
Yeah, same lead actress from Orphan Black. This book got hot. I think like right around this time last year is when the TV show dropped, so it got a little burst right before the show came out. And from my point of view, I actually thought the show was decent up until the last episode kind of ruined it for me. I expect to be goofy and the law stuff was fun, but the last episode kind of like ruined the entire show. I didn't really like that whole fourth wall break where they like went into like our real time and had to deal with like, you know, like a robot Kevin Feige. Yeah, so I mean, other than that, you know, it's hard to say. I know recently they announced there's going to be a season 2 for She-Hulk, so I figured they were going to do something along the lines. They've already like, they got to double down on it, you know, make it better, do something a little bit better. So we'll see. Like I've said before, it's always interesting that it actually says collector's edition issue like on the cover. So that like tells everybody back in 1980, like when you buy this book, get extras of it, keep it in nice condition because it's gonna be worth a lot of money somewhere down the road. And it definitely has some good value, but it's hard to say like because there's so many high grade copies on the census. Like, is it ever gonna hit that like super high tier status? Right. I don't know. Be on the lookout. There's newsstand editions that are worth about 2 times more, and yeah, we'll see when that second season comes out. I'm sure it'll get another good jump. But they really need to redeem themselves or put her in like a Avengers movie and let her kick some ass.
Yeah, I think there should also be a modular version too, in a direct edition. No, newsstand has to be newsstand because that's how they sell it at the army bases. So that's pretty interesting. And there's double and triple covers, I'm sure, out there. So keep an eye out for those because that might be fairly valuable. So just like the drop list in this case, the show led in okay, a little rough, but then let out real bad, like a bad fart. Prices a year ago for CDC 9.8 was an astounding $780 for 9.8. Now, $324. That's rough. The lowest has been $275 to the high, and I don't know what happened with this book. It was as high as $2,307. I think that might have been like a signed copy by Stanley or something. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Average sale $554. It's a 58% drop. I think potentially this is a book that you probably should get as a Bronze Age, Copper Age. I think it's still Bronze Age. I think it's Bronze Age. I gotta think about that for a second. No, let's say Copper Age. I'm making that up now. The Copper Age is a Copper Age book, and it's probably a book that you want to consider having in your collection, especially if you can get for the right price, because it's a very iconic homage kind of cover of Hulk 1, or at least it shows a big Hulk, She-Hulk. I think it shows her little, yeah, it's a homage cover. I think it's one of those books that everybody that's a Marvel fan should have in their collection. Whether it's raw or graded, you probably should have one in your collection. And it has potential to go up in price, but like Adam said, they printed 1 million of these, so it's going to be like one of those books that you're going to get for cheap, and then when it pops off, sell it, because you know you probably can buy it later on for more than what you sold it for. So this is one of those, we should make a segment about one of those like 5 books every once in a while, books that you're going to buy when it's at the low, and sell it at the high and buy at the low and all that mix and repeat.
That's
kind
of segment.
No, it's a little different. It's a little different idea because let me explain for 1 second. 1 second. So there's probably 5 books, 100 books out there that you buy at the high, sell at the low, buy at the high, because it's a continuous cycle of things like V for Vendetta #1. Good example. High in November, low in July. Anyways, prices. I raised the price.
Yep, we did.
Yeah, I think it's a book everybody should have. So get your gains.
All right, guys. You made it this long, all the way to the end. Hit that subscribe button. Hit the like button because you got #1. This is a surprise. I should not be #1 on the drop list. Black Panther #1, 1998. This is that Marvel Knights goodness. Mark Teixeira, Christopher Priest. You all know and love this book. First appearance of the Dora Milaje. You got Wakanda Special Forces. It's Aoki and Nakia. And those are both the 2 actresses, Lupita and Denai, are both in the original Black Panther and in Wakanda Forever. This book got hot last year with Wakanda Forever coming out. They were going to showcase the Dora Milaje a little bit more like in this one, and they did. They actually had that great battle against Atuma. A great battle against Atuma, which really showcased like the spear skills and stuff. I thought that was like a really good scene. This book is also like in that time period where Marvel had like really bad paper quality, so a lot of these are harder to get higher grade, but it made it to number 1 on the drop list, so it might be a good time to pick this up because I'm definitely going to see a Black Panther 3 somewhere, and the Dora Milaje will definitely be in it. They don't give them their own like TV show on the side because they did such a good job, but books to look out for. There is a newsstand edition of this book, which garnishes over $200 value.
Wow.
And there's another Dynamic Forces book for this one as well, which is a Joe Quesada cover, limited to 8,000 copies. So two good things to look out for at the number 1.
Well, price a year ago for this great book. I don't know what else to say about it. Was a CGC 9.8, sold for $307. Now sells for about $78. Range 78 to 340 is the lowest it's ever been in a year. Average sell 197. It's a 75% drop. I would say this is a decent pickup. I would say this is probably the deal of the week. But I don't think it should be on the number 1. I don't know how if they spin it right, this book will be crazy again. It'll be a modern day Grail. It could be a modern day Grail, along with first appearance of Amadeus Cho, first appearance of Miles Morales. It could have that potential, but they would have to spin it just right. But for $78 for a 9.8, I'd take the chance. Now, probably the number 1 pickup, I would have to say, as of right now, I would probably still say SheHulk. I'd still say SheHulk because I think it has a lot of potential, and getting a raw copy now, pretty cheap. You might be able to find a cheap copy that's potentially could be a 9.8. So this is a book that you probably could get some serious gains on, and it's always going to be up, down, and it's always going to be a decent book that everybody looks for. I think that would be the book to go after.
All right, guys, you heard it here first. She-Hulk number 1 is the book to get, says the expert. All right, guys, if you like and love the drop list as much as we like delivering it every week, you gotta do us a huge favor, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the notification bell so you always know when we do this and when we go live on Wednesdays, so we love to hang out with you guys there. And leave a comment down below. Let us know if you guys had any of these books, or if you were specking on any of them, or if you're now interested in grabbing them because of the drop list. We'd love to hear from you guys. And Zach, you got anything else?
Yeah, sure. How you do that is you have to live in a tree along with all your friends, and I'm assuming you have a father and maybe a girlfriend. Who knows? You don't want to be lonely. And you're just making a lot of fudge every single day. You put it between 2 cookie-like things. You got some fudge in the middle, little cookie things on the end. Put it in a package, and you sell it to industries. Why not? You can probably make them by thousands. You're magical. You're just making money hand over fist. And you're like, hey, you wish you were us, elves from the North Pole, and that's how we become the Keebler elves, the richest of all the elves.
I miss the Keebler elves. They don't even do commercials anymore.
No, those commercials.
Well, I mean, I don't really watch commercials anymore, but
those
still,
commercials were great.
I like those ones. All right, guys. Until we see you next time, remember, stay safe and
again, get those cookie gains, the fudge cookies.
Cookies all the time around here.
Yum.
No more cookies.